Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I am here with the first update for my project Level Up. I'm very excited to share with you where I am with my palette and my first level of this project. So if you didn't see my introduction last month, I do recommend you check that video out. But this project basically entails of 7 different levels, and each level corresponds to a certain amount of uses and a certain amount of pans. So for example, for level 1, your goal is to use every single shade in a palette once and hit 1 pan. Then when you hit that goal, you level up to level 2, where your goal is to use every single shade twice and hit 2 pans, and so on. And then when you have finished level 5, you get an option to either continue if you want to really challenge yourself, or reset and start at level 1. And that is the main gist of the project. I do have a few kind of other rules, like what palettes I roll in and vetoes and things like that. But yeah, make sure to check out my instruction if you do have any questions, or if anything is unclear. And if after that something else is unclear, then do let me know and I will be happy to answer that in the comments. So as I've already shown you, my palette for my first level is the child palette, my Colourpop, and I'm excited to jump into it to show you where I am. But before I do so, if you're new here, please consider subscribing. I would love to have a family. But let's jump into the video. So as I mentioned, this is my level 1 palette. So my goal with this palette was to use every single shade once and hit 1 pan. And I'm going to put up where I was with this palette at the introduction. I already had 2 pans, as you can see in the palette, and I wanted to hit 1 more pan. I said that the eyeshadows that I wanted to focus on was most likely going to be Precious Cargo, which is a light in the corner shade, or the Force, which is the kind of golden shade in the palette. And this is what my palette looks like now. Hopefully you can see there that I was able to pan on the Force. So I did hit my 1 pan, but let me go through each use as well, so you can see where I am with those as well. So for the first eyeshadow, which is Precious Cargo, I did use this one 5 times, and there is a little bit of a dip in this eyeshadow, as you might be able to tell, but nothing massive. But there is definitely some use in it, and I'm happy to have a little bit more use, and that's basically why I'm doing this project, because I do want to use my palettes more as a whole and get dips rather than necessarily just like pans in specific eyeshadows. But I do also love hitting pan, which is why I included the pan element into this project. Next to that, we have the shade Right Hand Mando, which I only used once, so there's no massive changes, but I did use it once. Next to that, we have Just Like a Tatooine, which is another one I only used once. This is like the brown transition shade in the palette, and since I'm panning my Modern Renaissance palette this year, this is just one that I felt like overlapped with those shades too much, and of course I was going to prioritize those eyeshadows if I was using for like a mid-tone warm matte, because I am trying to finish those eyeshadows rather than use them a couple of times. So that's why I only used this one once. Next up, we have the shade Sipping Soup, which is this green shade right here. I used this one twice. Then we have this green in the middle, which I already had pan on, and I did use this one once. Then we have the shade The Force, which is the one that I hit pan on, as you can see, and this one took me 12 uses to hit pan on, and you can see it right there. I actually pan on it yesterday, so that's why I'm filming the update today. Then next up on the third row, we have the shade Little Frog, and I did use this one 3 times. It's a beautiful green shade that I really enjoyed. Then for the last 2 shades, I used each of these once. So Float to Your Crib and Droid Protocol, I used once each. But as you can see with my uses, I did use every single shade in this palette once. Some of them I used more, which is completely fine, and that's also kind of my goal with this project, is to not necessarily just use every shade once. If I use them more, that's just a bonus. But I did hit my goal of using each shade once, as well as that 1 pan. So that means that I have hit my goal on level 1, and I will be rolling in a palette for level 2. Jump straight into it. I have my wheel here with all of my palettes. If I do happen to roll the same palette I already had, I will re-roll, because I don't want to do the same palette back to back. I might allow myself to re-roll a palette if I have reset the project, so like after level 5. But we'll assess when we get to there, because I do have quite a lot of palettes and I ideally want to rotate for as many as possible in this project. But without any further ado, I'm going to choose my palette. And yeah, this is a Tiny Decisions app, and I'm just going to go ahead and randomize. And the palette that we get is my Novena palette by Anastasia. That's a really nice one. I really like that palette. And I think it's a really perfect palette for February because it is like a pinky purple tone palette. So that is going to be my level 2 palette. So let me go and get that palette and I will be right back. So the palette that I rolled in is, like I said, my Novena palette by Anastasia. And I only have the original one. I don't have any of the new Novena volume 1, 2, 5 is it now? I only have this one, which is a perfect palette, like I said, to roll into February, but it's also a really good palette to work on this year because, as you might know, the Pantone color of the year is this kind of periwinkle shade, which perfectly matches this palette, and it kind of goes a little bit with the vibe in the palette as well. So this is where I'm starting with this palette, and as you can see, I already have 3 pans. I have pan in Dreamer, Love, is it? No, Wild Child and Love. Love is this one down here. So Wild Child and Love and Dreamer. So those are the 3 shades that I have pan on. But of course I still have to use them twice this time. And I also have to hit 2 pans, which I don't think is going to be any issues. I think realistically I'm probably going to focus more on the shimmer shades in this palette because I am, like I said, panning my Modern Renaissance, which is almost a full matte palette. It has 2 shimmer shades, but it's mainly used in Icona highlights for me. So yeah, I think I'm going to focus on the shimmer shades in this palette. And just right off the bat, which shades do you think I will focus on? I think I will either probably focus on Summer right here or Dazzling, because those 2 are like really nice neutral shimmers. And then for the second one, I think I might go for Rose Gold or is it Celestial? Yeah, Celestial. This one is more fun, but I think it's not something that I will easily wear every single day. So it might be Rose Gold, but again, we just have to see what I feel like. And of course, like I said, I have to reach for every shade a couple times anyway, so I will probably see how I like each shade and then just choose which ones to focus on. But yeah, that is going to be my level 2 palette. I'm really excited about it because this is a palette that I wanted to reach for more anyway, and again, it is perfect to this time of year, so I couldn't be happier. So yeah, that is my update for my product level up. If you're doing this, let me know down below. I already found a couple people who's doing it on Instagram as well as on YouTube, but yeah, let me know if you're doing it, and if I haven't found your video yet and commented on it. I know that I have, I think, 1 or 2 videos to watch on YouTube with it, but as you know, I did move in January, so I'm a bit behind on watching YouTube, but I will get to your video soon. But if you have done this project, please do let me know down below so I can go and check you out either on Instagram or on YouTube. But that is it for today. I really hope you're having a lovely day wherever you are, and I will catch you in my next one. Bye guys.